That depth map storyboard thing all over your feed right now, I ran it end-to-end on Seedream 5.0 plus Seedance 2.0, and it came out wild. Every image in here is Seedream 5.0 Pro, the character card, the establishing frame, the 9-panel depth storyboard, all of it, at about 1/5 what GPT Image 2 would have cost me. And I never even opened the web page. I had Claude call the API directly, and it ran the whole thing on its own. Every image, the storyboard, the video model. As always, all the prompts are down below. So, why use depth to control the frame? If you make images or video with AI, you know this feeling. The picture looks good, but it's just flat, no sense of space, no depth. And the reason isn't complicated. You're asking the model to carry color, light, material, and style all in one pass, so its attention gets spread thin, and the geometry is the first thing to collapse. The core of depth map storyboarding is one sentence. Build composition and style as two separate layers. If you've played with Stable Diffusion, this is control net thinking, and there are 3 control images people use: line art, a 3D white model, and a depth map. Line art locks composition and pose, but it carries no spatial information. The model can't tell near from far, so the frame still reads flat. A 3D white model has volume, but it over-controls. The model takes that clay render surface as the picture itself. A depth map encodes exactly one thing: distance. White is near, black is far, so it's more accurate than line art because the depth is real, and it's cleaner than a white model because there's no material and no style in it at all. So the order goes like this. First, you let the model do one job only: render the geometry, the depth, the layers, clean. Once the composition holds and it actually has volume, then you lay style on as its own layer. 6 steps in all. Step 1, the character card. Lock the person. I fed my own reference images to Seedream 5.0 Pro and had it generate a multi-angle character sheet. What you're afraid of at this step is face drift, and across 5 angles, front, back, big close-up, 3/4, and profile, the identity held. One more anti-drift tip. If you already have a clean front headshot, paint the face out of the full body view. The point is, one face per angle. It seriously cuts down character drift when you feed this to Seedance 2.0 later. I also tuned a prompt that gets Seedream 5.0 Pro to output a headless full body directly, so grab a screenshot of this one. Step 2. The style card. Lock the grade. Here, I didn't let the model freestyle the look. I set a reference palette first, and it's simple. Pick a film you like. I use the archive sequence from Blade Runner 2049. Grab a few frames, hand them to Seedream 5.0 Pro, and have it pull the dominant colors out into a color card with hex values. Then feed that card back in as the style baseline. Style comes from here. Composition is not its job. And that's exactly the core of depth map storyboarding. 2 things, done separately. Step 3, the establishing shot. Character card and style card go in together, and out comes the first frame of the scene. What genuinely surprised me was how well 5.0 Pro understood that style card. It didn't just slap a filter on top, it actually read the warm to cool relationships in the reference, the light and dark layering, that whole cinematic feel, and then executed it accurately in a frame of its own. Step 4, the depth map. This is the crux of the whole pipeline. Take that color establishing frame and turn it into a pure black and white depth map. White is near, black is far, style completely stripped off, geometry only. Why add this step? Because the moment you do, composition gets locked as a layer of its own. It handles space and camera, it doesn't touch color or light. And the benefit is concrete. With one depth map, you can keep rerunning it under different grades and different styles. Pick whichever version you like best, and the composition doesn't shift at all. Step 5, the 3x3 depth storyboard. If you're making a video, you can keep using depth control and get a whole set of shots out of it. The key idea here, not 9 frames each drawn on their own, but the depth grid for all 9 shots built up front, in one pass. So from the very beginning, the 9 panels share one scale, one set of architecture, and one identity. You settle the depth convention and the continuity first. 2 images go in, the color establishing frame from step 3, which tells it what's in the frame, plus that black and white depth map from step 4, which tells it how distance is encoded. And Seedream 5.0 Pro lays all 9 panels out in a single image, with a different camera in every one: high aerial, worm's eye, oblique corner, macro, a dive down, first person. 9 shots that string into one continuous story, each framed on its own logic. The capability that really won me over here, in one single generation, it holds the same grayscale and the same person's identity across all 9 panels at once. That's much harder than 9 separate images, and it's exactly why the sequence cuts together later. Pause and save the full prompt while it's up. Step 6. Shoot it. The character card, the establishing frame, and the 9-panel grid all go to Seedance 2.0 together, and those 3 aren't stacked on top of each other. Each one has a job. The character card handles the face. The establishing frame is the first frame, and it carries the grade for the whole film. The grid handles camera, panel 1 through panel 9, identity, look, composition, 3 images, 3 jobs, no overlap, which cuts character drift down even further. A lot of the time, when consistency goes bad, it's several reference images fighting over the same job. Let's talk cost. Run this pipeline and you never make just one image, you make a whole stack. For the same 2K frame, Seedream 5.0 Pro runs about 1/5 the cost per image of GPT Image 2. On a single image, don't even bother caring about that gap. But once you're calling the API to generate in bulk, what you save gets really sweet, and you can run the comparison yourself. All of these models sit on the same platform. One last thing about the move itself. A depth map is really just a clean control signal, the geometry that's left over once you pull the style out. I used the same move on another piece, except there I stripped the appearance and kept only the motion, so the faces would stop bleeding into each other. Same idea, different axis. Once you start seeing it that way, you'll find places to use it everywhere. Seedance 2.5 is about to land, and I'm going to run this exact grid through it untouched to see how much stronger the motion gets. Planting that flag now, because honestly, depth maps, storyboards, all of it, it's just breaking Think It Through down into smaller pieces. The tools keep getting wilder. What AI still can't do for you is decide what story you actually want to tell. That's it for this one. See you in the next.